Hello, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I want to take a luxury. Those of you who watch or participate in my Sunday morning classes will have to excuse me this indulgence. But I want to take something I spoke about yesterday in church. I want to make it my thought for the day because it's really where my heart is today. It's where I want to dwell, and I hope you'll dwell there with me. It came out of the story in Luke 1. Let me give you the backstory a little bit. There was a priest, a Jewish priest, and he was one of thousands upon thousands of priests. His job depended upon how the assignments meted out, and that was based on lot, honestly. They tried not to do favoritism in that regard. But he was someone who was assigned the task of burning incense. Now, incense in the Jewish temple at this time had to be burned every morning and every evening. And those were symbolic of the prayers of God's people that were rising up like a fragrant smell before God. And so he was in charge of burning the incense. That's something that happened inside the temple itself. Now, the temple had different courts, but he's inside the altar, a place where normally only the priests were going. It wasn't the Holy of Holies, that only the high priest could go to, and then only once a year on the Day of Atonement. But it was an exclusive priest place. Now, outside of that, in the temple courts, are the people. So while Zachariah, that was his name, this priest is in there offering incense, doing his job, serving the Lord. While he was doing that, and serving the people too, while he was doing that, the people were outside and they were praying. Now, Zachariah was married to a woman named Elizabeth, and they were both good people. Sadiq is a Hebrew word that means righteous or good, and they were both good people. They were holy. They tried to do right by God. But one of the keys of success in a worldly sense to Jews at the time was having children, and they had no children, and they were past the age of bearing children. And I like to think of them as these people who tried so hard to do right by God and were good, honest, righteous people. And yet the one thing that would have been the most meaningful, incredible part of their life that they longed for, they sought, they wished for, they prayed for, had been elusive. And it seemed to be never happening for them. Well, while Zachariah is serving, ministering the incense, offering the incense to the Lord, and while the people are praying, an angel of the Lord appears to Zachariah. Now, Zachariah is petrified. The angel says, "Don't be afraid. God has heard your prayer, and you're going to have a son. And not only are you going to have a son, but he's the right son at the right time to proclaim, as Isaiah 40 verse 2 says, that the Lord is coming to his people." He was going to have, and did have, John the Baptist. And I really like this story because of a multitude of reasons. But the one point that I made yesterday that's just echoing in my head, and I really want it to echo in yours, is this. Amazing things happen when God's people serve and pray. Amazing things happen when God's people work or serve and pray. And we see that not only with Zachariah, what happened with him, but I can testify to it in my life. And if you've spent much time with the Lord, I'm sure you can too. So here we are at the start of a new week, and I'm looking forward to these devotionals with you this week. But my video thought for the day is pretty simple. It's put yourself in a position to work for God, to live for God, to serve God in the way you serve others and live for others. Be right with your life, but join that with prayer. And when you do, God's going to do some amazing things. You just watch faithfully and trust him. It's your video thought for the day. More to come tomorrow, but God bless you in your journey today.